Cass County Board of Commissioners meeting to order. And the next item will be roll call of the members.
Commissioner Flacco.
Present.
Commissioner Breitling.
Here.
Commissioner Vettel.
Here.
Commissioner Grinberg.
Here.
Commissioner Capitan.
Here.
Commissioner Capitan, would you like to lead us in Pledge of Allegiance?
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, accept the motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
So move.
Second.
Discussion, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next would be to approve the order of the agenda. I have a motion.
So move.
Second,
Second.
moved and seconded, discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Next would be an amended approval of the consent agenda. You have two items in a packet. One is for an event permit for Bronco Bar, and second is authorizing a contract for recruiting services for the finance director position. Entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda.
So move.
Second,
Second, as amended.
discussion. Hearing none, we'll take roll call vote.
Commissioner Capitan.
Aye.
Commissioner Grinberg.
Aye.
Commissioner Flacco.
Aye.
Commissioner Breitling.
Yes.
Commissioner Vettel.
Aye.
This time we'll take public comment. Anyone in the audience or online? Public comment? Hearing or seeing none, we'll close the public comment. Just per the item approved on the consent agenda item D, in future meetings, our public comment with the policy we just adopted per changes in the North Dakota legislature, in the future public comment will move towards the end of our regular agenda. So note that at the next meeting. Next, we'll have the regular agenda. First item up is Fargo Cass Public Health request for mobile medical unit. Jean Fall. Jen, I'm sorry. Jen. Even had my glasses on.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. In your packet, you will have received a memo from me requesting the a budget adjustment, neutral budget adjustment, to Fargo Cass Public Health to do a mobile medical unit. We were able to get a van from a grant with the state. It's a Ford Transit van extended length, and to have that converted into a mobile medical unit. In your packet, you would have received 3D renderings from Vanna, who, did you guys receive them? Okay. That has done a 3D rendering of the van, and it is has been designed by the staff at Fargo Cass Public Health. The different departments that would like to use a van like this, a mobile medical unit, would be the WIC program, and that way we could go throughout Cass County to enroll families in WIC. Also, other clinic people could go out and have a confidential space in which to do an exam, because when they get out into the community setting, there isn't always a space to do such work. And then our Women's Way, who can go out to do cervical and breast cancer prevention screenings and enrollments into that program as well. And our nursing staff, who go out to do the maternal child health visits for children. So the van has been designed to have a scale and the necessary weights and lengths for youth. They're on your screen now. But these are all the elements, as well as a freezer and a pharmacy grade refrigerator that would have immunizations. So when those people can also go out to do those services throughout the community. Vanna has been a sole source for services like this within the Fargo region. They're excited to be able to do one of them for Fargo because they've been making them and sending them across the country. But to have one here would be great. The budget for it is, I think, $109,000 to convert it with all of the things at medical grade. And it is not an ask of additional funds from you. It is to use money that you've already allocated to Fargo Cass Public Health that we would shift and use to create this, but not to create additional expenses to Cass County.
Questions? Commissioner Flacco?
Quick question before motion, but how do you determine kind of the, who gets it when process?
I think during like the immunization time, there's definitely seasons where immunizations would occur more. So August, September might be heavier times for flu season, vaccinations. They can schedule between probably the 4 different departments, they could schedule as to going out. They could also go out together. So we could have our immunizations go out with our WIC staff. So they could be 2 different departments that would go out into one visit.
Commissioner Vettel?
How many anticipated patients would you see?
I don't even have a scenario on that one yet. What we're trying to track is zip codes that are coming into Fargo CAS, and just understanding that we don't have, we're not out into the communities, and those people are not coming in. If we think about, I'm thinking about like the Kindred area where I'm out at, is their grocery store is not a WIC place, so we're working on getting some of the services established in our outer counties that we have in Fargo. So we're going to try to track the zip codes we're going to, the numbers of people that we would serve in those areas. There's about 600 families that could be potential recipients of services out there.
As a note, I applaud you for doing this. This is something we've seen across the country. It's been very effective. Not only does it work, it saves money in the long term.
Is that a motion?
Yeah, unless there's more questions, I will move to accept the motion or the item as presented, and that we accept the cost as a neutral item in the budget.
Discussion? Hearing none, we'll take the roll.
Commissioner Vettel,
Aye.
Commissioner Grinberg,
Aye.
Commissioner Capitan,
Aye.
Commissioner Flacco, Commissioner Breitling.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
work. Item 2, North Dakota DO Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation Contract. Mr. Frobeck.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I apologize for my voice. I'm recovering from being sick last week, so I'll keep it very brief. This is a contract renewal from the DOCR to accommodate for payment for any time we have to either delay a prisoner transfer or when we hold for parole holds. This is a continuation of an existing contract, just simply renewal based on their biannual fiscal process. They have been paying the 120 rate that the commission a couple years ago increased it to. So their offer is to just continue that as is for right now for another 2 years for this biennium.
Commissioner Flacco. Question?
Oh,
Commissioner Breitling?
Is this, in the past, you've indicated that we have problems with the feds on payment,
This is for the State Department of Corrections, not federal.
but will this control them?
So this contract is one of the contracts that we would have to submit to the feds in order to justify a price increase with the feds. Right, so they would look at what we're paying the state, what we're paying, or what the state's paying us, what other cities are paying us, in order to come to a conclusion as to what they're willing to offer us at the fed level. Yeah, this would contribute to that.
Thank you.
So this approval then will make consistent with what we passed here with the city of West Fargo and Fargo. Fargo's pending their approval at 120 a
Yeah.
day. And then the pricing standpoint, the only difference is the local West Fargo have escalators built in, correct, where the state does
Yeah,
not.
West Fargo currently has an escalator built in that'll take into effect in 27. So this would be in effect roughly for 18 months. The last 6 months, West Fargo would then be paying slightly more. I think net will probably make more off of this over the next 6 months than we will.
That same
Because-
language was in Fargo's that we approved.
Because of their biennium, the 2-year that the state has to go back and ask for. So,
I'm sure for the next 1 and 2 years, we could certainly factor in something like that with them. Justify it.
Commissioner Capitan,
Move to approve.
second.
Second,
Discussion? And then we'll have Taylor take the roll.
Commissioner Breitling,
yes.
Commissioner Vettel,
Aye.
Commissioner Grinberg,
Aye.
Commissioner Capitan,
Aye.
Commissioner Flacco.
aye.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. I would stay right where, or Mr. Henderson's next, on behalf of Sheriff Johnner. Fleet vehicles.
Thank you, Chair, Commissioners.
Upgrade Sheriff Patrol Vehicle routers.
Yes, thank you, Chair and Commissioners. During our annual review of all of our Verizon contracts, we had a discussion with our account rep. They currently have a proposed offer out to us that would upgrade all of our patrol vehicles' internet routers to 5G ultra wideband capable routers. The credit on this would be, if we do this within their time frame, which is mid-August, we would receive a bill credit of up to $880 per router back onto our bill within 60 days. The cost of the router is $880. They'd effectively be paying us to put them in. What we would be responsible for is any licensing that goes with that, which is reflected on a quote in the agenda packet. And installing a new antenna for each one of these squad cars. This brings over a lot of feature set for our patrol that we currently do not have. Not only are we gaining a much more reliable and higher speed connectivity throughout the county, but we're gaining access to Verizon's new Frontline internet connectivity. Verizon's Frontline program is better than the typical preemption or prevention, which has been given out to law enforcement forever, which is when you're at an event like the county fair and they're very congested, we get first dibs on those towers. What Frontline does is one step better. They give us our own chunk of spectrum that no one but law enforcement and first responders are able to go on. So if you think of this like a highway, not only do we get on the highway first, we have our own road right next to it that no one else is able to drive on. This allows us to have some of the best connectivity nationwide and at a very heavy discount from what we'd be looking at comparatively. This is a short time period. They're doing this as a Q3 ending promo, which is where that discount comes in. Normally, something like this would be on a budget for like 2026, but due to the savings of nearly $30,000 being here for us, felt it was worthwhile to bring to the commission at this point. I would stand for any questions.
Questions? Sheriff
Mr.
John?
Chair, if I could add something, and Commissioners, this would be an excellent opportunity for us. We have experienced issues like out at the fair, as Bob had mentioned before, when we have large crowds out there, being able to communicate by cell phone. Obviously, we have our radios and we can communicate that way, but if we need to do any sort of communication by cell phone, we've been interrupted because of the congestion on the tower. So this would give us that opportunity to override that and take precedence in an emergency type situation. So
This, if approved, would be for 2025.
This would be for 2025. We would have to sign by mid-August. So we'd be looking at the second page there, the RCN quote. The grand total on that is 57,332, and then 29,000 of that roughly would come back to us as a bill credit on our Verizon bill.
And then in 2026, what would be?
2026, we're covered. We're just paying for service unless we add new squad cars.
Okay. Further questions? Commissioner Flacco?
Chairman, I would move to authorize the IT director to enter into an agreement with Verizon Wireless to upgrade law enforcement cradle points, purchase antennas, installation, and licensing as detailed in the June 30th memo.
Second.
Seconded, discussion? Hearing none, we'll take the roll.
Commissioner Flacco? Aye. Commissioner Breitling?
Yes.
Commissioner Vettel?
Aye.
Commissioner Grinberg?
Aye.
Commissioner Capitan?
Aye.
Item 4, Cyber Incident Mutual Aid Agreement. Mr. Henderson.
Thank you again, Mr. Chair. Presented before you is a mutual aid agreement between ourselves, the city of Fargo, and the city of West Fargo. This aid agreement has gone through not only our state's attorney's office, but Fargo's legal advisory as well as West Fargo's. What this provides us is a legal framework in the event of any form of a cybersecurity incident at any of our agencies to allow us to assist each other. We would help each other anyways, but it gives us the legal framework to do so, the order of operations and how we request this, and sort of just the rules of engagement. This has been discussed for years. Frankly, I got tired of waiting and put something together. And now after this, we're just hoping to get this through. This is also in the hands of both Fargo and West Fargo. They were unable to get it onto their agendas today due to bureaucracy. So I would like for us to be the first ones to sign. So we helped write it. We should be the first ones on there. I would stand for any questions.
Questions? Commissioner Flacco.
How does that work when we have some of our folks that are both, state, extension, for example, where, they kind of have one foot in both the state and the county?
It works very poorly.
Okay.
We all have different rules. We all have different orders of operations. And I feel for not only that, but our zone employees, They will receive duplicate trainings because we push ours out on the date. State will then apply them something different. Our password policies are X, state is Y. We have tried to engage with state of North Dakota to help get this more aligned and do what's called a business-to-business trust environment, which basically means we could work as an agency together instead of doing each of us our own thing. That has gone nowhere during my tenure. I continue banging the drum though.
Capitan,
Move to approve.
second?
Second.
Seconded, discussion? And then we'll take the roll.
Commissioner Brightling. Commissioner Vettel.
Aye.
Commissioner Grinberg.
Aye.
Commissioner Capitan.
Aye.
Commissioner Flacco.
Aye.
Sir? Sheriff Johnner? June severe weather event update.
Mr. Chair and members of the commission, I'm going to ask if Kyle can join me on this. He might have a little bit of information at this point in our recovery efforts and a response to the storm. But as everyone remembers, we responded to the tragic event that affected Enderlin and the rest of our North County back on June 20th. And we had given one previous update on our operations, just that we had gone into emergency operations and where those cities were at the time, and trying to get volunteers to assist them and things of that nature in the cleanup efforts. So since that time, the Sheriff's Office, have concluded our emergency response hours and effort to that. We still remain in contact with the mayors at different times as they were working to get their paperwork and information, everything that they needed for the emergency declaration documentation for the storm. And so at this point, just as far as an update on the cities, both Hunter and Page continue to clean up, but they're not requesting any volunteers at this point. It's just their local officials, and power's been restored to those towns. They obviously look different, but they're continuing with that recovery effort. I and Tracy and Kyle and Amanda, she's not here, and then Robert's been on a few of those meetings, and our state partners at DES have been working together to try to get all the documentation together. And I think at this point I'll turn over to Kyle, because he's been kind of spearheading getting all that information in and getting it to them, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so I guess as far as highway, we did some initial cleanup with our staff as far as getting roads open, but that ended pretty quickly with the large amount of volunteer help. We were almost in the way, I guess. There was so much help out there. So once that got taken care of, then it became kind of the paperwork struggle to just get everything documented, everything brought together as far as invoices and damage assessments. So everything has been sent now to DES for the preliminary damage assessment, and they're reviewing, they have questions back and forth, but I guess we'll wait to see if President signs our declaration.
I don't know if you guys wanted any updates on local costs that we've submitted. Do you want anything of that nature?
Please.
Okay. Let me just find that here that I sent to Kyle. So we did, as far as the sheriff's office was concerned, we did end up with approximately $18,000 in overtime from moving people to the 12-hour shifts and assisting up in that area. And then there was a cost to our towers that were damaged. That was approximately around like $60,000. That was the tower down in Alice and the one near Buffalo. They sustained a lot of wind damage, and we're talking about radios for our portables, our vehicle radios for law enforcement. And we are still experiencing some issues out there, some communication issues, where radios are doing what's called trunking a lot. And there's some areas where we can't reach some of our deputies. We're having to talk to them by phone right now. So, and Brian Zastapol's been working through to get that figured out, but it ended up looking like it was gonna be about $60,000 to repair all that radio communication.
So that's parts and that been ordered then for the repair? That's
Yeah, Brian is working on that end of things, so, but we submitted that obviously along with the declaration. So,
I guess highway department's probably about $10,000 for, machinery and labor.
labor costs for that,
Yep.
a couple days.
Yep.
I suppose early, the estimates for the entire, gonna be significantly more damage or something.
I've heard
Property.
like 10 million for the state at this point, so whether or not that'll fly or not, I guess, I don't know.
and we appreciate, Kyle and I both, appreciate the assistance from the board, from the county administrator, from Tracy, and emergency management. Everyone's been great to work with, and of course, the cities of Page and Hunter and area have been great to work with as well. So I think we all made a good team, and certainly we learned some things as we move forward hopefully we won't have it next time, but if we do, areas where we can get a little better, but I think for the most part, I think everyone was pretty satisfied with the response and moving forward, so.
Big shout out to Brady with the city of Fargo as well. He was a huge help and helped coordinate things and really kind of got us exactly where we needed to be. So,
Yeah, a couple calls that I was on, he was very meticulous and very
yep.
organized. From a piggyback on your comments, Sheriff, from a lessons learned, will there be some kind of a summary report then that's compiled that
Yep.
maybe is a presentation back to the commission on the lessons learned, things that we
Yep.
learned from?
We certainly can do that. We're currently working through debriefs at our office. I still need to go out and sit in on a debrief with the Enderlin Fire Department. They wanted a little bit of time to process stuff before they did that debrief. So once we're able to organize all that, we'll put something together, I think. So,
That'd be great. Commissioner Biddle, or Commissioner Brightling, I'm sorry.
Were you able to use the new van?
yeah, thanks for bringing that up. That we did use that out on the scene, the first evening, and that thing, I don't know really what words to use it just huge benefit to our operations and how we work through that, how we were able to communicate, set up incident command. That's a game changer. So I appreciate that from the board as well. So that's brought our response to a different level.
Was there any cost allocated to your figures?
For the command truck,
Yeah,
no, that was just fuel costs. So,
thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Item 6, approve vouchers, Commissioner Capitan.
Mr. Chairman, I have reviewed all the vouchers. I had a couple of questions there's about 8 pages of overpayments, but apparently that was due to people who got reimbursed over the tax refund type of thing. So that one, and then I questioned one other voucher to an individual that was for the new person taking over emergency management. I thought he was a local guy, but I find out he flew in from like Philadelphia, so he paid for his flight in and out, so. Motion to approve the vouchers.
Second? Discussion? And now we'll take the roll.
Commissioner Vettel,
Aye.
Commissioner Grinberg,
Aye.
Commissioner Capitan,
Aye.
Commissioner Flacco,
Aye.
Commissioner Brightling.
Yes,
Committee reports. Mr. Wilson, let's start with you.
Mr. Chair, just a couple of things to mention. First, I would just want to add on my appreciation to what you've already, and the board have already stated to Kyle Litchie, to Sheriff Johnner, and really the entire group in response to the storms. We had a couple of things maybe working against us that weekend that you know about, that the emergency manager role was filled in an interim basis at that point, and the interim happened to be out of town at the moment, and I was out of town as well, and the operation was flawless. It touched a lot of offices beyond sheriff's office. highway, obviously coroner's office was involved, communications office was involved. There were IT was involved, setting up some of the supports for communication. The Veteran Service Office was involved, and really the response was flawless. And I think that's really a credit to the team and the direction from the board to have people give them space to run and operate. And so it just could not be more grateful that the whole operation turned out as it did. So I appreciate the moment to talk about that. A couple of things I did want to mention. Cass County was recognized a couple of weeks ago and will be recognized again at the convention later this week with a NACO Achievement Award for IDO's Strengthening County Community Connections. And this was a profile that was put together just really describing the popularity and the work of the finance office in being conducive and accessible for marriages and marriage licenses here at the courthouse. And as we demonstrated in the application, that is a service that has been well utilized by the community and given a lot of members of our community a positive interaction and encounter with Cass County. And the credit on that really goes to the board in previously funding this and providing for this election of the wedding coordinator position within the finance office, and then Director Madriga and the finance office in administering that program. So just wanted to point that out, and I think that was well-earned recognition. And then the other item I would mention is those of you who have had a chance to read your copy of County News published by the National Association of Counties will see that there was quite a write-up on the diversion project and the partnership between 5 different local government agencies to provide multi-generational flood protection to the region. And it's quite a write-up, and credit to the reporter who digested a lot of information, talking to a number of folks about the project and represented it very well to a national audience. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Commissioner Breitling?
I do not have a report.
Commissioner Middle?
Or do I?
Attorney Hagvick?
On June 27th, my office had a Narcan administration training for our Cass Health came over, showed my staff how to use it. We have a number of boxes in my office. For those who don't know, it's the opioid receptor reverser for people who are having overdose due to opioids. Highly recommend the training. We've actually seen on Zoom court before somebody overdosed while they were actively participating in court, and also there was an overdose over in the annex a couple of years ago. And so it's something that saves lives, and it doesn't harm anybody if you take it and you aren't overdosing. So it's kind of a no-brainer. I think that the courthouse has it. I think that the jail has it, and so now my office has it as well. We had Casapalooza last week to sort of do a celebration for some of the departments here in the county, as well as the public defender's office. They hosted us, and we grilled up a bunch of food, and over 60 of us participated. So it was a nice way to gather during the workday, to have lunch together and still be able to work afterwards. Nick Samuelson and I from our office are in the middle of writing an article for the Gavel. That's the North Dakota Bar Association publication, having to do with 25 years of problem-solving courts in North Dakota. As I mentioned before, Cass County's juvenile drug court was the first drug court in the state of North Dakota, along with the Grand Forks Juvenile Drug Court. So we are writing that article. We're hoping as part of that to have a photograph of Hans, who is doing the construction of the courtroom upstairs, and also some words from him about drug court and how that helped him in his life. The Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation put out the solicitation for the criminal justice diversion programming, and so my office will be actively pursuing Cass County being chosen as a pilot site for that. If we are selected, we hope to have something up and running by the beginning of January. And lastly, Judge Youngren, who used to be an assistant state's attorney in my office, is finally hearing criminal cases as of this week. So it's exciting for him, and I'm sure he's going to do a great job.
Thank you. Commissioner Capitan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Nothing other than I've already made a report on the little county excursion I made after all the hullabaloo we had in June with the storms and stuff. But I was invited at the NACO conference to attend the mid-sized county caucus meeting and reception. It's brand new. We've always had the large urban county and then the rural action county. Now they've created mid-sized, which I think we fall better into that area than we do in the rural action caucus. But so I plan to attend that on Saturday, July 12th, I believe. So it should be interesting. We'll see how Philadelphia treats everybody with their garbage strike that they have going. So it'll be interesting.
Flacco?
Mr. Chairman, you nudged up on it, but we did fully execute the jail contract with the city of West Fargo, so that's done for a couple years here now. And yes, it does include an escalator based upon Midwest CPI. Just a reminder to folks, we deal with this some, but the Red River Valley Fair is underway. Started on the 4th, runs about 10 days. It's a little different than last year where they kind of just did weekends, but NDSU Extension, Cass County Extension is involved in a number of ways, including thousands of 4-H entrance exhibits, and they're selling pieces of pie. And tonight, which might be interesting if it rains a little more, they have monster trucks. So that could be a little added treat to see how that goes. And then Sawyer Brown, Hairball, and then Kanye Brown. So a lot of things coming up for the fair. So hopefully they have some great attendance and aren't impacted by this weather, which is a little on again, off again. So,
Sheriff John?
maybe not.
Commission Chair, members of the commission, I was just going to mention that, yes, the fair had started on Friday, and as everyone probably saw, we needed to cancel Friday night because the storm was coming through. We have the National Weather Service on site there, which has really given us a tremendous advantage on being able to gauge the weather that comes in to that area, because as everyone in here is aware, there's not a lot of places to shelter out there for adverse weather. I mean, there's a number of buildings, but if we get high winds, there's definitely a danger out there. And then with all the tents that could catch wind and things like that, we don't want anyone to get hurt. So we did cancel that on Friday night, and it was literally an hour after we canceled it. We did have a lot of wind come through there because I was still on the ground. So we were lucky to get people off of there. And then Saturday night was pretty full, and last night was a little light. But what I wanted to invite this body, or give you guys an invitation to this, if any of you want to come out any night and view our operations out there, you're certainly welcome to do that. We have a lot of tactical operation planning that's gone into place out there for several different things: adverse weather, mass casualty situations, active shooters, hot weather type incidents, if someone gets stuck on a ride, all kinds of things. And when that place is full out there, it becomes a large city. There can be anywhere from 15,000 to 25,000 people out there. It covers 400 acres. So it's a large area to patrol, and we've got a lot of resources designated to there. So if anyone ever wants to come out one night and spend some time with me, I can show you those different things, and would certainly welcome that. So, thank you. Yep.
Finance, Ms. Madriga.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The auditors finished up with our annual report. I believe a copy was emailed to each one of you. We are sending that out to the printers for your hard copies, which will be set in front of you once they arrive. As well, we will update it on our website, I would say shortly. It's not there yet. And that is all. Thank you.
Just maybe look down the road here, the week of the 21st, we'll be meeting every day that week. Road advisory, the 21st, next scheduled commission meeting with two events with the diversion on Wednesday and Thursday. We set up the schedule for the 26 budget start Tuesday, conclude on Friday, and so there'll be some periods there where the three of us will be invited to a couple diversion events, one of which is with the new colonel from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. And I think, as I've shared, we did invite the 33 members of the Cass County Legislative of the 11 districts to our overview on Tuesday the 22nd. I believe we have 4 or 5 that have RSVP'd, and this afternoon Governor Armstrong, who we invited as well, replied back that one of his staff members would be sitting in on our overview. So thought it would be important for us to have the folks making decisions in Bismarck to have at least a high-level overview of our budget that Brandy and her team will be presenting here on the 21st. So mark your calendars. See you every day that week. Any correspondence? Is
No correspondence.
there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Tony, did you want me to go over funding?
We'll pass on that, Kyle. Yep.
Yep.
Is there a second by Commissioner Vettel or Breitling? All those in favor, second by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. We're adjourned.